So the Detroit Pistons, as we've been saying, they were bad last season. 14 wins, 17% win percentage, 25th in points per game, 26th in defensive points per game, 24th in defensive field goal percentage, 28th in turnovers per game, 29th in turnovers per offensive play. I think it was like 13% or something like that. It might have even been higher. Again, I could be getting it wrong, so I don't have the numbers pulled up in front of me. I could continue to go on with stats, but I'm guessing you, Zach, and the listeners, you guys get the picture. This team was just terrible. So with all those numbers, you can see why we need veterans. I was talking with a friend that loosely follows the Detroit Pistons, and he says to me that he didn't understand the urgency to sign veterans. So I pointed out to him, it's the rebuilding the team roster. Veterans improve team performance. Bringing in better players can attract additional talent to this team. Like if you're like a Devin Booker, you're not going to want to come to a 14-win team. But if you win 26, 28, 30 wins next year, and you could be the missing piece to push them over the top, it looks a little bit more enticing to you. Enhancing fan engagement and support. I mean, I don't think you really have a problem with Detroit sports fans because the team can be god awful and they're going to show up to the games. And then flexibility and team strategy, basically kind of the same point as attracting additional talent. Like it's gonna when you have better players, it allows you to open up the offensive playbook and allows you to do a few more things on the floor. But like, why do you think the Pistons? I mean, unless you agree with all the points that I just made, why we should sign veterans? Do you have anything to add? Why the Pistons should sign veterans?
I feel like when we sign veterans, all we do is bring back old Pistons players, thinking that they're just gonna like reaccumulate and be like, "Oh my God, you were bad then, but hopefully when you come back, you're better now." I I like the idea of signing vets. Like I have no problem with it, but it's when we're signing guys on the coattail ends of their career that's not really going to be such of a
Yeah.
solution to us. I what is a veteran? What is a veteran to you? How many years are they in the league? Like what is that? How does that count? Do you 7, 8 years in the league? Does that define a veteran with leadership skills? Like I don't know really what the classification as a veteran that we want to bring into the team. Because I mean, you could say that Tobias Harris is a veteran, and man, that guy just got slaughtered in the media for his last game for Philadelphia in the
He only took
playoffs.
2 shots though.
I
Come
I get
on.
that. I understand that, but man, they ate him up. Like I'd be okay with them bringing in pieces, but I think the veterans that we take shots at, like recently, like the late great Mike Muscala, like I think we're taking the I think we're taking the
Don't
wrong
even.
we're taking the wrong approach as veterans. Like I don't. I'm all for it. We can bring in pieces. We can bring in guys to lead the locker room. But at some point, these young guys got to stand up and do it themselves. So as much as you can learn from all these guys like Mike Muscala coming into the locker room, I don't think it's going to mean anything until they can actually like understand what it is to be a leader. Because I think that's what you're looking for veterans, right? It's
I
not
mean, I'm
really
not looking for guys just to be teachers. Like, I'm looking for guys that still have a lot left in the tank that can help and contribute to winning. That's all I want. Like, I don't want. I mean, it was fun watching 43-year-old Haj Gibson on the floor. Don't get me wrong. That was great. But if you're just going to bring a veteran in so the guys can learn, no, I want a veteran that's going to be able to play and push these guys. Like, bring back Chris Middleton. You know what I'm saying? Who's 32 years old, but I think was averaging 23 points per game for the Milwaukee Bucks and like 9 rebounds for them, even though they lost in the first round. Bring a guy like that back who still could potentially be an all-star in his early 30s that's going to push Jaden Ivey, that's going to push Asar Thompson, that's going to push Quentin Grimes, Simone Fontecchio. I want him to do that. Those are the type of veterans I want. Like Mike Muscala was fun, Danilo Gallinari, he was fun too, but those guys, they're not rotation pieces on good teams. You bring in veterans that can be rotation pieces on good, whether they're starters or just coming off the bench. But as long as they're getting minutes on good teams, that is how you build a competitive roster nowadays. That's what you need to do. Those are the kind of veterans I want.
I mean, so yeah, so you're looking doesn't have to be a starting five option. It could be a
No.
sixth, seventh, or eighth man, but as long
Yeah.
as someone that actually can produce and lead and show young bucks what it is to actually play in the league for a long period of
Yeah.
time. Because I mean, it does mean something to be an NBA player for 14, 13 seasons.
Oh yeah, for sure.
That you're good enough to keep getting paid and doing this job. So
like, if you're winning games and you want to bring in DeAndre Jordan to help guys learn, all right, he doesn't need to be a huge part of your rotation. I get that. That's when you bring in those guys where, like a DeAndre Jordan, where they've been playing for 13, 14 years or whatever, and they could give you 8 to 10 minutes when you really need it, or even be a spot starter. But for the most part, they have your rotation. That's a valuable guy to have when your team is good. But when you're a 14-win team, you need veterans that are going to play and push these guys.
I feel like we're just bringing in veterans that are all tail ends. Like they're just kind of last legging it, maybe getting another little bit of a paycheck just to end the career. And even if you're walking, you might as well go out with a bang with 28 losses. Like if you're going to be the biggest loser, you might as well do the best.
Oh, dude, if I'm like Tobias Harris and you're going to pay me $25 million, I'm going to go for a career high. Dude, I'm averaging 23 or more.
Yeah, we're paying you to shoot the ball, not to do anything else. Like
we don't want you to teach. We just want you to shoot the ball. That's all I want.